Hello everybody, it's Vindicta here playing for the CranKy Ducklings. And for this TV2 WTL tournament, I've chosen Dolan as my teammate. Dolan and I have stayed together a few times at tournaments and I've interacted a lot with him. And I feel like we have really good synergy together and get along really well. So that's why I chose Dolan. Super excited to have him as my teammate going into this. And my views on the TV2 tournament are, I think it's pretty exciting. I think it's really cool that we get to have a high-level TV2. And I think a lot of people will agree that it's probably pretty refreshing as a format. So it should be pretty good.
这次的2v2的话，我觉得我们对要获胜看起来几率应该没有到，看起来是比较困难一点，因为毕竟鸡哥最近确诊了嘛。然后呢，我的2v2也并不是非常厉害，加上我们队是2个神主，所以呢，我觉得我们应该是这次这16支队伍里面看起来比较菜的队伍。所以呢，我觉得我们的希望就是我们能赢一个人就算一个人，那最好就是上面那些人对最好不要输给我们，因为我们还是会有一些比较厉害的打法，但是希望我们能继续往下走吧。但是因为毕竟实力上的考量，所以我们不会有太多的希望这样，但我们会尽力的赢下每一场比赛的。
I always enjoy 2v2 tournaments, so I'm happy about that. I pick Rainer as my teammate because I think Zerk and Terran is very decent for that.
Hello everyone, this is Special. I'm playing for Psystorm and this is my video and Psystorm Max Packs introduction to the 2v2 tournament by WTL. We are very excited to play in the 2v2 tournament. I, as a player, have a lot of experience in 2v2 actually, and Max Packs also plays on 2v2 tournaments in the past, so we're really excited about it. The reason we decided to team up is I think we can do well. And yeah, guys, see you guys there, and we will try our best. And thank you WTL for hosting this tournament, and Psystorm for supporting us.
네, 이번에 그 WT에서 진행되는 2대2 토너먼트에 참가하게 되는데, 근데 팀 파트너는 람보 선수랑 같이 하기로 했어요. 근데 솔직히 제 생각은 저는 2대2 팀플레이에 중요한 게 소통이라고 생각하는데, 아무래도 제가 영어가 좀 잘 안 되다 보니까 서로 소통이 좀 부족해서 그렇게 좋은 성적을 낼 것 같지는 않아요. 근데 제가 또 워낙 한국에서 팀플에서는 제가 거의 최강이라고 생각하거든요. 저는 2대2 대회가 있으면 항상 출전하고 항상 우승해왔기 때문에 저는 어느 정도 자신 있는데 람보가 저한테만 좀 잘 따랐으면 어느 정도 좋은 성적을 낼 수 있을 것 같아요. 아무리 그 소통이 되지 않아도 뭐 프로게이머들은 그냥 어느 정도 플레이만 해보면 딱 그 상대가 뭘 원하는지 알게 되거든요. 어느 정도 수준이 있는 선수끼리 하다 보면은 이제 말을 하지 않아서 다 알기 때문에 어느 정도 좋은 성적을 낼 수 있을 것 같아요. 그래서 조금 저는 팀플레이를 좋아해가지고 이번 2대2 팀플레이도 좀 기대하고 있어요. 꼭 좋은 성적 냈으면 좋겠습니다.
Hello, this is Kilos, and I'm gonna play WTL 2v2 tournament with Ratata, previously known as Vanya. I picked him as my teammate because I have a lot of experience playing with him. We already got top 2 in Nation Wars that had 2v2 format in it, and I'm really looking forward to this event, and I think we have a very good chances to win it all.
Hello guys, it's Ratata from Team Good Game Gaming, telling you my thoughts about upcoming VTL 2v2 tournament where I'm gonna play with Skills. So in first round we have 2 Protosses, Cyan and Nice. I don't think they understand how to play 2v2 correctly, especially with 2 Protosses. It's just gonna be tough for them, so should be easy win for us. And further we go, more difficult opponents, so from that point we might have some difficulties. We'll see, I'm not sure. Obviously we're gonna prepare for everyone and try hard as much as we can. Main skills communicate well, we understand the game well, we showed it already on Nation Wars with top 2, so I think we can, maybe not a win tournament, but at least show a decent result here. See ya on tournament.
Hello guys, I'm Rodzyn, Polish Protoss playing for Team Platinum Heroes, and in WTL 2v2 tournament I will be playing with Goblin. He's my teammate. I'm very hyped to play in 2v2 tournament because we don't have too much opportunities to play in something different, and it's always nice to try new things in StarCraft. I hope that together we can make some miracle run and make some fun games for the viewers.
I think it's pretty fun to play some 2v2s instead of the usual one-on-ones. We can use a lot of different strategies there. In general, I think it's fun that races have more synergy with others, and some races don't have that much synergy. So just mixes out the playing field a little bit. We didn't have too much time to prepare just because this is right after Christmas and New Year's Eve, but I hope we can do some entertaining games for the people watching. And yeah, Time asked me to play, and I agreed. I think he's a great player, and I think Terran in general is pretty good in 2v2s. I think Terran and Zerg actually is a pretty good combination, so I think we can come up with some stuff, but we'll see.
Hi, my name is Trigger, and I'll be playing in World Team League's 2v2 tournament. I play as Protoss, and my teammate is Nina, who also plays as Protoss. And I think it's going to be really interesting for us because we're both Protoss, so that can give us a lot of issues, especially versus Zerg, just because it's very hard to wall off on some of these maps. I don't think the 2v2 maps are built for double Protoss, so it's going to be a bit tricky, but I think we can make it work. And I hope we can surprise some people with our teamwork. On the topic of just 2v2, I think it's very difficult, but I think the real reason that most people don't play it is just it's just not balanced. The game is not balanced around 2v2, it's balanced around 1v1. So it's it can get a bit weird sometimes. It's just like the race matchups and stuff, at least from what I've heard. But yeah, I think it's really interesting, and I think this tournament's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's gonna be really cool just to see how pro 1v1 players do in 2v2. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy watching me and Nina play. Yeah.
Hello, this is Solar from Inside Gaming. I'm a Zerg player. Also, I will play 2v2 tournament in WTL with Maru. I choose Maru because he's obviously the best Terran player. Also, he is also a very good Protoss player. 2v2 needs like we can try both race from him, and we are very confident to play this tournament. I think we are gonna win. So, see you guys in WTL 2v2 tournaments. Bye bye. See you guys.
When they show the play.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome to day number 2 of World Team League 2v2 Tour 2022. 2023? I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm, of course, your host, Live VIP, and with me, I'm not joined by Asherbird. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest. I need to bring in the big guns, the 2v2 specialist, Chase.
That's me. I've played 2v2 before. Light hasn't because he keeps ditching me, but yes, we are here. And very interesting today, Light, because, StarCraft, these players very good at their craft in 1v1. 2v2 is a whole different beast, and to be honest, like, mechanics is not a huge thing. A lot of strategy is it's refreshing, because strategy is another thing to look out for in these 2v2 series.
It really is. That's one of the big things that really impressed us yesterday, is that it was very clear which teams were very well synergized and actually practiced 2v2 specific builds and which weren't. And it was really impressive to see. I want to give a special shout out to Cyril and Time. Yesterday, Cyril and Time were looking so good together. It was insane how they were able to mesh in 2v2. But here we are in our first matchup of the night. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player Goblin alongside the teal Protoss Rodzyn. Together, they are Platinum heroes.
And in the top right, we've got the red Zerg Dark, the one and only, and the orange Protoss hero from DPG.
DPG?
DPG.
Oh my god. And I my god, like week after week after week, I don't know if you've noticed, but Dark, that beard, that goatee, it's getting thicker and thicker, mate. Oh my god.
Actually, the kung fu master to like the when he's gonna be the what is it, the guy who goes to the top of the mountain, stays there for 5 years meditating.
Yeah, like he's going full Buddhist on us. He's gonna be an enhanced monk by the end of all of this. But yeah, it's been really cool to see like all these players surprise us with their 2v2 finesse. But now we are here in the lower portion, or the lower half of the bracket. For the first time, we're seeing some of these players in a 2v2 setting, and we'll see what they have in store for us. We'll see if they're able to adapt to a very different format.
Yeah, and this is actually one of the older maps in the pool. It's not in the 2v2 pool anymore, but it was around for quite a long time. But first kind of move we see here is Hero's gone for a gas steal, and he's gone for kind of a one-base opener Stargate. I feel like this could be a game where they kind of target Rodzyn on that upper left side just because of the openers. But it could be that Hero just wants to be a little bit aggressive while Dark gets his economy going. We'll have to see how they want to approach this game, if they want to go hand in hand with the strategy, or if they just want to capitalize on, Zerg having a lot of drones.
Yeah, I mean, Hero, it looks like he's going for like almost a standard PvZ opening where he opens up Adept, he's got another unit behind this, and he's going to be going for Oracles. So he's going to be a little bit hyper aggressive. Meanwhile, it looks like his opponents did open up 2 gate. So likewise, Rodzyn and Goblin are going to be rushing across the map with what little units that they have, looking to also deal some counter damage. And unfortunately, Hero only has 1 unit at all, but there is no pylon block.
Yeah, really cool move there by Hero, using the probe to kind of block there, and he's going to maybe get a probe here, but meanwhile Rodzyn going for that counter damage as well. Goblin as well, with 4 Adepts this early on is hard for Zerg to deal with, but can they get damage done on the side of this map while dealing with these Adepts at home as well?
Yeah, I love this, right? We have both Rodzyn and Goblin doing the best they can to try and cripple Dark right now. They're kind of trying to gang up on him, but for the time being, the Lings and the Queens seem to be good enough. Even though dealing with 4 Adepts is really difficult at this stage of the game, Dark, he's done it.
Yeah, and he hasn't stopped there, lad. He's gone making 20 extra Zerglings. As it's a bit of a commitment. Not only you committing to kind of getting damage done across the map, but if you lose those Adepts, it's 4 less Adepts to deal with like any encampment threats you have here. And keep in mind, there was that gas steal for Rodzyn, so you may not have like the gas count to kind of build a sentry here. Plus, even if he did, like Hero's got those Phoenix to kind of lift them up anyway. And it looks like they're going to be going for a decisive kill move right here, right now.
Yeah, the wall is never going to be a wall here. We have to make some choices. Do we go for Rodzyn or do we go for Goblin? We do see a full wall up with that shield battery, but that is what the Banelings are for. We're going for a full Bane bust right now, and it looks like their target is indeed Rodzyn.
It is indeed, and Gateway's not going to finish in time, but no, the wall has been breached, and I feel like Dark is just going to kill Rodzyn here. A couple of Adepts being warped in, they're going to get picked up and dealt with by the Phoenix, and Banes don't even have to go off. The Lings are just going to do the damage here, and meanwhile, what can Goblin do? He can't really help out. A bit of laughing by the European Protoss as they realize the dire situation they seem to be in.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like Rodzyn, everything is on fire. He has 0 mining right now. GG gets called, and just like that, Dark and Hero take game number 1.
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting kind of combination of strategies there. Like, it seemed that Rodzyn and Goblin had the immediate kind of strategy in hand, but it seemed that Hero and Dark kind of had they managed to hold that, and their counter strategies just capitalized on what Team Roblin was doing. So very kind of good starting game there by DPG, but pretty curious to see how the rest of the series goes.
Yeah, so a couple of things happened here, right? And you were talking about this map that is no longer in the 2v2 map pool, and the map that we just played on game 1, it is one of the few 2v2 maps where you actually don't share main bases with your teammate. So because of that, we do see this kind of strategy actually quite often, where you just kind of target someone, and it's so difficult to kind of have a joint defense when you're so isolated from your teammate. So that was a little bit of a rough game number 1. I do want to believe, though, that our double Protoss team, they can have an easier time defending and getting into a more comfortable position in the mid game on some of these other maps.
Yeah, do we have the map Fields of Death? Is that going to be our next game? Yeah, exciting. This looks like a I really kind of favor. I know it's easy to say favor Hero and Dark because you can favor them anywhere in the series, but this map, 2 gold bases like close by and how large it is, I really favor Dark. I feel like Hero again be going for that superiority play, but yeah, this is a fun map, right? Because you can just get lots of bases and mass carrying.
Oh my god, we'll see if we get that far into the game. I do recall Fields of Death yesterday. We saw a bit of a matchup. I can't remember between who, but we saw that because the dead space in the main was so large that we actually had like a 4-gate Blink Stalker 2-base all in. Kind of really work well here, and you get the high ground and you can back it up with tanks, you can back it up with Liberators. I believe we had a Protoss and a Terran work together. I feel like Protoss and Protoss are a little bit of a weird combination. I do know that there is a little bit of a meta in 2v2 when it comes to like race picking and race matchups.
Yeah, we kind of see diversity is a bit of the key here in 2v2. You know, you've got a lot more potential with your unit composition. Unfortunately, when you have the 2 Protoss, yes, it can be easy because you don't have to worry about creep, you don't have to worry about depots or your warlords or anything that can limit you like that fact. But again, you know, you both have a race as the same strength and the same weaknesses, and your strategies can counteract to an extent. Like if you think of Zerg, and Zerg is very weak to air early on, but it really kind of it's difficult because you can, you know, the attacker generally can pick where they want to attack, and the defender, it's just kind of like, well, it's StarCraft is the philosophy anyway, right? Like the attacker has the advantage, otherwise the players wouldn't attack. That's why harass is so kind of like StarCraft's so harass oriented. But we'll have to see if again, Team Rodzyn will want to try and take the initiative this time around again and kind of prevent that from happening, or if they're just going to sit back and kind of, you know, channel their inner Protoss.
Yeah, especially because like this is a bit of a larger map, so if they wanted to cheese, if they wanted to proxy, you know, maybe they can have a little bit more success here. They can even go for some cannon rushes, but it looks like we are getting into game numero dos, number 2, and spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the teal Protoss player Rodzyn alongside his teammate, the blue Protoss Goblin. Together, they are Rodzyn.
And on the other side of this huge map, we have got the red Zerg, Dark, the one and only, and the orange Protoss Hero, who are, I don't know the team name, what is it like?
DPG!
Rodzyn and who? Darko?
Yeah, Darko, that, yeah, I can get behind that. Oh my god. The unit is back.
Oh my god, I remember the Hercs.
They were awful.
Not fun at all. I remember back in the daylight, we could persecute against, you know, the beta was, you know, only cool people got invited to the beta. I never got to play the Heart of the Swarm or Legacy beta. But that first time with the Oz server, oof, that was a good feeling.
Oh. Yeah, exactly. Time's gone by. And speaking of, we do see that Hero has a cheeky pylon out on the map, and I thought that he was going to go for a proxy Stargate, but we see a Twilight Council back at home. Are you feeling even a proxy Dark Shrine opener from Hero?
Yeah, it's an interesting map because if you look at the bases, Dark's taken both of the in-base expansions.
Oh my god!
Goblin have just taken the back base, so I would have expected Dark to just pump out Zerglings to just get that map control. But because the maps are so huge and they've got those in-bases safe anyway, he might just go full drone here. Meanwhile, Hero's going to be going for that going for the Dark Shrine, as he called it, and it's going to be kind of one of those games where both players, because they're both playing Protoss, are going to have to awkwardly tech to counteract it. But Goblin's actually got an Observer on the way. Sorry, he's got a Robo on the way. But I think that's just a bit of a stalling game until Dark can get that huge drone count up and going.
Definitely. I mean, this is another strategy that we see in 2v2s where we have one player being giga greedy, which is exactly what Dark is doing with that very fast third base and doing nothing but droning. And Hero is going to be the one to be very aggressive to try and have their opponent on the back foot. We do see a hallucinated scout. As soon as it comes in, Hero does start blink, so he's trying to hide the DTs. Thankfully, there is a form of detection, or there's a way to get detection, but it's going to be on Goblin here to try and save the day.
Certainly will, but yeah, it's going to be very good. So it might just be like a soft contain, but it's kind of awkward to say soft contain when you kind of consider that they've got it in base already, and here he's going for a one base opener. You'll have a hallucinated oracle coming across the map. Meanwhile, it looks like it's going to be blink DTs, which is quite interesting from Hero. So I'd expect maybe if you go DT Mass Zergling, you kind of get take the gold bases, but the fact that going for these kind of mass drone style and they're closer kind of natural to Hero just shows that it's not going to be anything too crazy. And also going down, these DTs going to get taken. Or are they?
Yeah, beautifully done. We do have a recall here, and it looks like the recall will not save the Archon. It is going to get focused down. Goblin's smiling there, actually, for a moment. They know that so far, Hero is the weak link. As you were saying, he committed to a one-base opener, and as a result, you can see it in the worker tab as well, or the amount of workers. Hero is falling a little bit behind.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like it's hard to kind of gauge 2v2 as well as a 1v1 because there's weakness in Hero, but Dark's just massed up to 60 drones, and now he's just dropping a bunch of tech and just getting a bunch of Zerglings out. But I would say that at the moment, Rodzyn and Goblin, they should be able to secure the third bases as Rodzyn secures his own. And we have Disruptors actually coming out as these DTs blink into the natural.
Oh my god. Yeah, we saw this as well. With Blink Stalkers, you can blink over that ledge. Meanwhile, we have these DTs as well. One in either one of these natural bases. A lot of workers are going down. And even though we were talking about, or I was talking about how Hero had a bit of a rough opener, he is more than making up for it here.
Yeah, and the blinks to kind of dodge the army there and dodge the Disruptor Ball. This is some cute micro here from Hero. And even though he's kind of falling behind a little bit in the supply, he's delaying so much time here. Some really good moves. Meanwhile, Dark again, he's going for Infestation Pit. He's getting Ling upgrades and more drones as well. So perfect kind of time buying going in. Surprised not to see the gold base be taken yet. But what do you kind of think is going to be, the game plan here from what is it, Goblin? Roblin?
Gobson, let's go. I mean,
way to go.
That's a good question, because we did have a robo follow-up from the robotics facility opener there from one of our Protoss players. So Disruptor production has already commenced, which is pretty cool. Oh my god, the proxy from Hero still hasn't been spotted, by the way. The DTs, they just keep coming in. They just keep dealing damage. Oh my god.
Yeah, and it seems every time that our two Protoss players, they compose themselves to move out, a DT just blinks in again. And there we go, the Pylon and Proxy spotted now. We'll get taken out by those Blink Stalkers on both sides too, but there's been so much time. Dark's already tech in the hive, and it's only been 7 minutes.
Yeah, a couple of seconds ago, I love that, as the DTs were killing everything, Dark was laughing to himself. He's having the time of his life, just chilling, droning up. He's taking even more hatcheries, by the way. He's going up to 5 hatcheries, which is insane. And soon he's just going to explode here. You can see he's only lost a single Ling this game, and now he's just amassing Roach Ravager.
Yeah, I do like the move out here by Rodzyn. the European players, they must be thinking to themselves, yeah, we're getting messed about by Hero, but what is Dark doing? He hasn't done anything at all. They have gone Stalkers, Blink Stalkers, so it's pretty safe. Disruptor as well, in case it's mass meter or a huge roach push. But Dark's kind of playing perfectly, just going for this tech. And look at the supply difference between Dark 171 down to 100, and that's almost twice as much supply as the other two products combined.
Pretty much. Even forces a recall as well because of the DT. To be fair, those Stalkers were about to be surrounded by Dark's Lings in the middle of the map, and Dark is about to max out here. Hero, again, he may be struggling in the supply, but look, they're laughing at each other, laughing to themselves. They're like, mate, I got this in the bag right now. I'm sacrificing my own economy just for you, Dark, just so you can max out.
Yes, and some perfect good. Just the mobility that the DT Blink upgrade gives, it really shines in these match formats where there's a bigger map and there's more to kind of go on. It's like finding a changeling, right? It's so difficult to find a changeling in 4v4 compared to just 1v1 but here we go. It's some charges now, and the mix will be tanking a lot of Lings and Ravagers. And where is Goblin's army? Rodzyn's gonna need some help holding here. There's no shield batteries.
Yeah, there are no shield batteries. There's a cannon, but that is it. We do see Goblin coming in from behind to try and support Rodzyn. Both players going mass Blink Stalkers. Where are those disruptors? They're coming in.
Disruptors coming in. Oh, one does get taken out. These Immortals looks like they're going to tank a lot of that shot, but I think it's just being overrun here. And Dark is still pretty much maxed out. It's this Protoss position is going to be compromised. Immortals too to help out against these Blink Stalkers, which are the most versatile units against what Dark has. And some really good army synergy here by our Korean players.
Yeah,
as they laugh away.
Hell, like, this is great, mate. We should 2v2 more often, Papi. We should. Oh my god, as Dark with that 84 drone count. There we go. Forces the GG, rolls over with mass Ling, Roach, Ravager, and DPG take a 2-0 lead in this series.
They certainly do. Like, what that means is potentially just one more game left in this series. Really interesting to see how dominant our DPG players have been so far.
Definitely, and you can definitely tell, especially here in game number 2, like, they did come in with a plan, like, again, Dark is like, mate, just let me drone, and he was like, I got you. They came in with a plan, and things were looking a little bit scary for Hero. We saw that the first two DTs died trying to morph into an Archon. Like, it was a bad start. Rodzyn and Goblin were looking quite solid, but the Blink DT give Hero a little bit of micro ability, give him some units to control, and we saw him pull both players apart.
100%. Yeah, I'd attribute a lot of that game going well for DPG was just down to Hero's play, because not only was it was one of those things where when you commit to DTs that quickly, you got to double down. When you don't get damage done, you have to keep going, and having the versatility of Blink really helped him kind of buy a lot of time, utilizing the map to get back behind those back bases as well. And he just kept both the Protoss players pinned back while Dark just droned and droned and droned. So some really good kind of synergy there from our two pros.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy to think about how Hero, I mean, to be fair, like, he does arguably have the best Protoss micro in the entire world. To see him out multitask 2 players. It wasn't, he didn't just do it against one Protoss, he did it against 2 at the same time. And it's not like it's Archon mode where you have, these 2 players like trying to keep up with very limited units. No, they had their own armies, they had their own bases as well to look after, and they really were having a hard time minimizing damage. They were having a hard time kind of just getting control of themselves so that they can be active on the map and get into their own games. They did a decent job at getting up to 3 bases, but that's all they could really do.
All they could do indeed. But anyway, what's done is done. We're now going into Roscallion, which will be our 3rd map. I'm sure I remember this. I was a 2v2 Andy.
Yeah.
Years back. I'm sure I'd say that once we see the map, we'll know what's going on. But
yeah,
do you think, when you look at the strategies by Team Robot, like, game 1 was, some immediate pressure to kind of get some momentum that was shut down, and game 2 was sit back and just defend, and even though they defend the first wave, they couldn't keep up. You've got to be thinking what's going through their heads, and what do they think they can do to kind of reverse their fortunes in this game number 3?
That's a good question. Ruscallion is another macro map, kind of similar to the one that we just had. So I do think that early game aggression is going to be harder to pull off here. So, oh boy, Team Rodzyn, they got to come at this with a bit of a different plan here. We can see the player cams as they're getting into game number 3. And in the top left-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player, Goblin, alongside the teal Protoss, Rodzyn. Team Rodzyn.
And in the bottom right, we have got, oh yeah, it's this map.
Yeah.
We've got a red Zerg Dark, and on match point as well, the orange Protoss Hero.
Yeah, exactly. I know you were a little bit concerned that these 2v2 matches would lead us into the night and things may get a little bit too late, too soon. But we can see that sometimes 2v2 matches can be quite quick.
100%. Especially in the larger maps where you have, oh, nice little block there. Especially when you know your opponents, they're going to take the, the geography of the map into play. As Dark and Hero laughing again. When your opponents are focused on one strategy, it just gives you more kind of leeway to go for a faster strategy that goes against the norm.
I like to think that they're talking to each other, and Dark's like, do the thing, block him, Papi, block him, just like you do to me. When we play, when you deny my natural base, do it to them. He's like, I did it. It's like, yeah.
That'd be perfect, yeah.
Oh my god. So, yeah, we see once again Dark with a very fast third hatchery.
Yeah, and we already see, it looks like some more denying going on here by Hero. Very annoying. There we go, another pylon going down. Even with the Zealot, like...
Yeah, even with the Zealot, Hero just keeping Rodzyn on one base right now. Not the first time that Rodzyn's been... I don't even know if it's intentional that they're targeting Rodzyn, but like... He hasn't had the easiest time in some of these games.
No, have not indeed. And when you're kind of 2 games down and you're kind of trying to plan a strategy to get you back in, and you're already feeling like you've hit a bit of a wall strategically wise, it's a bit hard when something as basic as getting a natural expansion is that difficult.
I've been there, and here we go. We have a Dark Shrine from the side of Goblin. I also think that Hero may be going for a Dark Shrine as well. Hero has his own proxy pylon out in the middle of the map. He's also going for a Twilight Council opener, but no, this time he's going for the upgrades.
He is indeed, and like, this is a peculiar map because I expect if you go late, you're going to see a lot of kind of verticality. Is that the word? You expect to see Hero and Dark take the top right quadrant and see Goblin and Rodzyn take the bottom left quadrant, but I fear if it goes that long, we're going to see Dark with the creep and spores just kind of really maximize the strength of Zerg late game. Meanwhile, Hero's going to take out this Adept. It looks like map control is going to go to our DPG players.
Oh, it looks like it will, but do they have the scouting information? That's the real kind of question here. Because it's a Zerg and a Protoss, a full, SimCity is a little bit limited, so unlike their previous opponents, unlike Rodzyn and Goblin, there isn't a full wall off to delay and signify that there are DTs. There is a pylon, and looks like it has been scouted there by Dark's Overlord.
Yeah, certainly, and it looks like a couple of sentries being walked in. It's a pretty kind of close game here for Team Rodzyn.
He's gonna blink up. He's gonna blink up.
The spotting stalker is gonna just get clowned. But yeah, the main is compromised, and all that defensive position at the top of the ramp is just gone.
Oh, we do have a couple of DTs warped in across the map, but they're still making their way towards the bases of Dark and Hero. Meanwhile, Hero has now broken through into the bases of Rodzyn, once again just denying any kind of mining.
Yeah, these sentries, unfortunately, the defensive capability units, one gets sniped, and the force fields aren't going to be helpful at all here. It looks like Dark eventually is going to have to concede. Sorry, Hero's going to eventually have to concede here, but look at Dark, and he's got four bases, 4 finishing up right now. Meanwhile, the Goblin and Rodzyn deflecting their pressure. They're in very controlled kind of situations. These DTs, however, come in and deal some damage.
Here we go. Hero's in a little bit of trouble. He's forced to pull the boys all the way back towards the spores of Dark. Again, Dark is perfectly fine due to the spores. Hero is a little bit more having a harder time here, but he can focus on his Blink Stalkers across the map.
Yeah, and this is where we see a bit of the advantage. Oh, this Immortal is going to get sniped. However, there's this extra shot as required. Probes being pulled off a line, which is going to lose some mining time, but it looks like eventually Hero is going to be deflected here by the combined forces. But yeah, there's some wings across the map too to deal with the DTs, and it's action all over the place. Like the Spire throwing down for Dark too.
Oh, there we go. Lingbane Muta coming out from Dark. You love it to see it. Hero had a very hard time. Look at the workers tab here. Hero is down to 19 probes. Ay. His economy's been crippled. I only just realized it wasn't just Dark on 5 bases. He is getting his 5th, by the way. Hero's on 1 base.
Yeah, he certainly is. Now you mention it. Maybe some disruptor drops or something a bit whack we're gonna see from Hero, because there's even creep everywhere too, and Dark his next base is going to be on the front line, which makes it even harder to hold here. So it might just be maybe he's just feeding Dark as well as Dark takes up to Muta. That's what I'm going to expect to see here, because Dark has got a lot of resources in the bank.
Yeah, this is like game 2 cranked up to 11, where Dark's like, okay, give me all your bases. She was like, all right, okay, puppy. I'll do whatever you say. And because that Hero did go for 1 base, 4 gate blink all in, and he's losing a little bit of steam here. So it's kind of, I feel like it's going to turn into a 1v2, Dark versus Goblin and Rodzyn. But that's essentially what last game was as well.
Yeah, there is that saving grace, however, for our Protoss players, because they do have that Dark Temple tech. Hopefully seeing those meters as they come across the map now, they're going to be able to easily go in. Twilight's Dark pumps out 15 drones after starting those meters, but you better get some Archons and Blink Stalkers to deal with this, while Hero takes a sneaky base in the bottom left, actually going past a proxy pylon to get there. But this is just one of those things, right, where, you know, Goblin and Rodzyn, they're a little bit limited by their strategy choice. If one goes DTs, the other has to go Robo to keep safe, where Hero can just go balls to the wall, do whatever, and Dark can just do what Zerg does best and defend anything that gets thrown their way.
True. Like, shout out to Hero for that ninja base, as you were pointing out. Dark has the map control, or DPG has the map control right now. The Mutas haven't found too much damage, though. It's a bit unfortunate for Dark to commit into Muta play like this when he's up against 2 players going Blink Stalkers, but he's committing to this fight into shield batteries.
Yeah, the added Stalkers here helping out from Hero, but there is a shield battery in lap. We know shield batteries can't be beat. You expect to see Hero maybe take a proxy base SOS styling and his own shield batteries up, but yeah, Storm going to be coming on the way here too, and that's going to be a bit of a crux here, because Mutiling Bane, it's a fantastic kind of strategy, but once Storm kind of comes into the fray, it's not the greatest defending the mutas, but when you go for that counter push and force the mutas to come home, it makes it really hard. And this Zerg's got crazy amounts of banes to defend their push.
And speaking of baiting as well, did you see that, by the way? Dark baited the Stalkers to blink up into the main, and he just went down to the natural. It was it was crazy. Oh my god. And something to bear in mind as well when it comes to the team Rodlin is that even though Rodzyn's been kind of hammered and bruised like over and over again, Goblin's bases have been untouched. He's up to 3 base economy. You can see his supply slowly getting up there. Like, Goblin is kind of making a bit more headway. We're going into Storm. Meanwhile, Rodzyn threw down an additional Stargate. He's going into Skytoss.
Yeah, as we do see that Cybercore upgrade on the way, and as you said, like, this is just a bit of the luck of the draw, as Goblin only has to defend like his southern kind of front, where like Rodzyn's got like 3 different positions he can attack from this huge unit ball, and really good play here from Dark, keeping Rodzyn locked down on this low supply, because Blinkstalkers are great mobility wise, but you gotta keep in mind it's like, here, even though Hero's on 1 base, he's got a 2nd base now, and Dark's pretty much maxed out, so maybe he can feed some resources back to Hero.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Hero is slowly getting back into this game. It's pretty interesting to look at the supplies and kind of say that Hero is pretty comparable to Rodzyn at the moment. Like, even though Rodzyn's had more mining and had more economy because of all the harassment that's been dealt to him, like, he's also been struggling a little bit here. So things aren't looking too different between our 2 opposing teams, except the mass muta cloud is quite terrifying. That's a lot of mutas.
It's extremely terrifying as we see Rodzyn's even got like a buffer base now for the Goblin South base as we see. They have the Mutas to come in. There is a small amount of Phoenix here, but not enough to really contest without Stalker support. Even then, it's going to be a bit dicey because these trades are just going to go well for Dark because his economy is nuts this point.
Oh, he's getting boxed in though. We have Archons towards the south. We have Blink Stalkers as well from the north coming on in. Dark shaving off a lot of mutas right now. Is this really worth it? And on top of that, is this really what he wants to defend once the Protoss go for a counterattack? Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself though, because Lings go for a run by and they take down the third base of Rodzyn.
They certainly do it. It's just so difficult for our Protoss players to kind of leave, considering the openings. Yes, you know, Archons are great, Blue Stalkers are great at defending mutas, but they're not the greatest at kind of, as we see these mutas come and get even more damage done, kind of, you know, helping solidify those outside bases when you've got so many mutas on, sorry, so many Lings and mutas on the map. It's so hard to contest and take extra bases.
It really is. Like, the Phoenix count just isn't there yet. It isn't high enough to really stop the mutas from having so much free reign. We see both Protoss armies doing their hardest right now to try and keep up with the mutas, and this is just giving more time to Hero. Hero's taking a third base right now, and the Ling and Muta, oh my god, Dark is committing to a fight.
Dark is indeed. And the Phoenix, however, they do now have Aura's Disruptor coming in. The Phoenix do have that air upgrade now, so the mutas, what's the word, like the muta effectiveness is not going to be as high as it was before, but keep in mind, like, is it right now it's Goblin who's kind of invested into dealing with these mutalists, and the more he invests into air, the more that kind of Hero can take advantage of Rodzyn on the ground here with these disruptors.
Yeah, Hero's just going mass disruptor. Nothing but disruptors right now, and I think Zealots earlier as well. It's great to gain control of the ground, but what about the air? The Phoenixes are going to be able to deal with these mutas, but here we go, we have a switch into Corruptors.
Yeah, we do in too, and just keep in mind though that the Phoenix upgrade, it still outranges Corruptors, so it's kind of, I feel like it's more of a force switch that Dark's going. Maybe some fungal growths might have been a good idea with some infestors, but yeah, at the very least, it's going to take these Phoenix out of the fight as Goblin has to contest Dark, but Dark, these mutas getting so much economic damage done. Meanwhile, Hero is just clowning with Rodzyn's ground.
He really is. Look, like, he's like, come at me, bro. I have balls for days, puppy. Let's go. He just keeps sending more and more Novas out here, never allowing the ground armies of the Protoss players to get close to these disruptors. But Dark, I mean, I'm waiting for the Greater Spire, basically. I'm waiting for potentially a Broodlord switch. We need to, I feel like we need to get rid of these mutas eventually, but Dark, he just keeps making more. Oh my god!
Nice blink back from Rodzyn, gonna avoid that disruptor ball. And I do like, remember how we were talking earlier about the quadrants, the top right and the bottom left? I do like that Hero's actually taken these bottom left bases, perhaps out of necessity, but is gonna give them the advantage in the late game if required, but they might not even get there as Hero and Dark are pushing forward, and this ground army has nowhere else to go. These disruptors have pushed them into the wall here, like.
Oh my god, exactly. Goblin is completely out of position. Goblin is not here to help in the fight. It's all pure Rodzyn, but he's able to hold on. The Purification Novas were all disabled due to the Phoenix control, and just like that, Goblin and Rodzyn are able to hold it. Not just hold, they also took down a crucial mining base of Hero.
Yeah, and like we might actually see a bit of a base trade here as Hero kind of buys time with his disruptors, and that's the Muta Phoenix go ham, but sorry, the Muta Corruptor, and the Phoenix count's been kind of reset. There's only 3 left now. I don't know if that's enough to kind of deal with this Muta field, especially with how fast Dark can replenish it. But no, it looks like Goblin has got surrounded here with the Muta Stalkers and Disruptors. Blink to get away. I think that it's not looking good for Team Rodzyn at all.
Yeah, I was looking at the Bank of Dark earlier, and I love the idea of Hero being like, "Hey, Hyung, can you like give me some money?" And Dark's like, "Nah, I need the bank." His idea to replace my mutas, mate. Let's go. And the Novas are just a little bit too good. The army of Goblin and Rodzyn just completely crumbles. We're down to just pure Blink Stalkers right now. But against all these disruptors, it's just impossible to deal with. As you were saying before, the Phoenix count was reset earlier.
Yeah, and the Corruptor's now dominating the skies as well, so the War Prism needs to be careful now, under threat, and it just seems... Is he blowing up? I thought he was blowing because of disruptors there, but no, it looks like... I don't know, what he was hitting there, was it...
I think there were like individual like zealots were coming in and hitting. He was just killing one zealot at a time there with each disruptor, and it looks like DPG have broken on through Hero, even now with a couple of Blink Stalkers just to help support, just focusing on zoning away these Stalkers. Another base is going to be going down here, just once again keeping Rodzyn on 2 bases, keeping Goblin on 3.
Yeah, we're gonna need some like Clem-like splits to deal with this here, but remember we're playing Europe versus Korea, so some ping is involved, and it doesn't look like that will matter even then, because this is just an overwhelming game here for our team. DPG, Hero celebrates, Heroes for DPG to start off the day.
Heroes, as he's so ecstatic, he's like, mate, I did it on 1 base economy, let's go. I just went master I was clowning, Poppy.
Oh my days.
GG, well played. 2 very happy players there. And they didn't have the easiest time in game number 3, you know? It looked like there was a point where Team Rodlin, or at least Goblin, they were almost stabilizing, you know? They had an army, they had some way to push back against DPG, but God, it wasn't enough.
It wasn't indeed, and despite the uniqueness of that game with a fast 4 bases for the Zerg and 1 base by Hero, it was just again just constant kind of the harassment and putting the Protoss players on the back foot, because even if Team Rodzyn held that kind of held what was being thrown at them, they just couldn't stabilize. And when the mutas came out, it was pretty much it was just so hard to deal with.
It really was, and a massive shout out there to Team DPG. A shout out as well to Platinum Heroes, aka Team Rodlin. They are eliminated from the tournament, but they put on a good showing. They had a little like interview video at the start of the day as well, and yeah, they did put up quite a fight. They have been knocked out though. DPG moves on forward to face the winner of KaiZ Gaming versus Team Liquid.
Indeed, and this is going to be an interesting one. Team Liquid and KaiZ Gaming, they've met before in the classical WTL, but a 2v2 format. It's going to be curious to see. I have a bit of the big thing with these kind of global organizations like Team Liquid is the language barrier, right? Because even though players are teammates, and a lot of them can speak second languages, is how do you communicate when you're under the pump and there's a lot going on in a high pressure situation like this? Like, I'll be curious to see how they handle. As we said, was it Lambo and Bjorn? Is Bjorn on Team Liquid? No, he's not. Is he? He's on Shopify, right?
Lambo and Bjorn is Shopify. Yeah.
yeah. For example, like how are they gonna work together? So I'm not sure. I don't remember. Like, you might be able to tell me that the players are going to be playing up here soon. But yeah, expect to see a little bit more diversity, I'd say too.
Yeah, exactly. This is a very high-profile match between 2 very powerful, very strong teams in the StarCraft scene. And we're going to be getting into that, sinking our teeth into that matchup after this short break. Until then, get some water, get some food, go to the bathroom, and we'll see you soon with some more 2v2 action.